Hey guys, today I want to talk about a subject that is it's quite hard to talk about and it affects quite a few people in the world and quite a lot. And it's a bad thing to do. It's a way to release like some people's emotions, and that is self-harming. And you got loads of different ways of doing it. For example, the most popular one that I hear about in the news and everything, you cut your wrists with something. You're not doing it to kill yourself. You're just doing it to just to get some emotion out. And you get people using pencils, any corners of something just to scratch themselves with. Some people use their nails. Some people use anything they can get their hands on to do it. It's sharp, but it's not sharp to sting. It just enough to cut the skin. You've got just so many ways. You get people purposely hurting themselves in certain ways. They'll throw themselves into things and just stuff like that. And I do get where people are coming from, where it's a way to deal with emotion and just to get it off your chest, and just it's a way to let out your frustration and anger. And I know where people are coming from, because I personally have done it several times before, just as a way to feel better. But it doesn't really feel better, because it makes you feel worse, because you realise what you've done, and to be honest, it takes a long time to get over. And I mean, I'm trying to think, the last time I did it was about 2 years ago that I can remember. And that's what I can remember, but I might have just done it and not realised I've done it. Or because a couple of years ago, I used to sit there and just do that. I just do that on my wrist all the time. I just sit there and just scratch myself. But I was just doing it just to feel pain. That's just the reason I was doing it. And sometimes I did do it worse or whatever, depending on how I felt. But that's just, if I was sitting down or something, people would notice me doing that, and they say, "What are you doing?" It's like, oh, nothing. And I have to cover it up. But it takes a lot of time. It's something that you can't get over by yourself. As much as people say, "Oh, I'll be alright," you can't get over it by yourself. You need people there to talk to you about. You need help. That's same with anything like that, because it doesn't just affect you physically. It affects you emotionally and mentally as well. Because I know it left me more emotionally scarred than physically, because it just the damage I did to myself, and really thinking back on what I did. And I've had someone contact me just saying that they've done it, and it was I wanted to shake him, grab him by the shoulder, shake him and say, please don't, just realise what it's doing to yourself. Because for you to see something that's wrong with yourself, you need to step back from everything you're doing and look at it from another person's point of view, sort of thing. So you can see what it's doing to yourself. So what you can see, what other people are seeing, what you're doing to yourself. And I know I've had a few friends that said they've done it, and every time they do, I just go. I've told them before that, if you ever feel like doing it again, contact me, because it is something so bad that it's bad for you physically and mentally. It's just bad for you overall, because it makes you feel worse. Well, it did for me anyway. And I mean, I ain't done it in about 2 years that I know of. And yeah, it still does affect me. I mean, every now and then I did used to think, it would be so easy just to do it, and it would solve problems, when it wouldn't. But that's how I felt. And sometimes I sit there, and if I'm wearing a jumper like I am now, I sit there and I'll go like that with it, just to sort of get over, sort of do it but not, like do it, think I'm doing it but I'm not, sort of thing, and that's a way to do it, especially just because you feel it, and it's just something that I found it helped, really, to be honest, because it just, I don't know, it's just how I felt, that worked for me, and to be honest, I think I all stopped doing it when I left school, because that's when I was able to get away from everything that had happened, and just be able to forget it all and put it all behind me. And admittedly, some of it I can't put behind me because of what happened. And I've talked about some of the things before, but there's a few things I haven't talked about because I physically can't get the words out. And I will be trying to get them out during these videos, because it's something that needs to be aware, like people need to be aware of, and we need to raise awareness for it. And I'd rather put my story out there and hope, no matter what people say about me or whatever, in the hope that someone someone watches it, and it moves them, to inspires them to put their story out there, so people know that they are not alone. And because you do feel alone when you do it. That's why you do it, because it's a release, and it's just possibly one of the worst things I've done, but just because how it made me feel down the line after I've done it. And so many times after I've done it, I've regretted it. And I recently had a friend do it when they hadn't done it in years, and I felt so bad because I should have picked up on what was going, like signs of what happened, and just how they acted, and I should have picked up on it. And it happened a couple of days ago, and I still can't forgive myself for what happened. I feel like I let them down, and I've failed being their friend. I just failed them so much, and I've talked to them about it, and they've told me that I'm being silly, but it's hard for me to admit to myself that I didn't do something I should have done, and it's hard to believe after everything people have told me I've done, and something like that I missed out on, and it really gets me down to think that I could have done something more, I could have done something to help. And it's just, if anyone out there who's watching this, or anyone knows someone who's doing it, please contact them, via me, send them this, send them anything, just contact them, let them know that they are not alone, that there are people out there that will help. And if you feel like you have something you want to get off your chest, like if there's something you're feeling down about, or just something that you want to talk about, send me a message. I'm always available to talk. I'm here for anyone who needs it. Just, we need to get stories out there. We need to get the help out there for people who need it, and just support people. Don't act like it's nothing. It's not a big deal when it is, because it can affect someone so bad. So yeah, I shall speak to you guys tomorrow, and don't forget that I'll be doing a few more serious subjects next week, because I'll have time to talk about it properly and be able to get what I want to talk about. So yeah, I shall speak to you guys tomorrow, and until then, hope you have a good day, good night, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. And yeah, if you want to talk, I'm here. I'll probably next week I'll probably make a video just ways you can contact me, and just like I'll put everything in the description. I'll do everything next week. So yeah, I shall speak to you guys tomorrow. Bye.